Sorry, I'm having all kinds of weird notifications on my phone. Ooh, goodness. I'm looking a little rough all of a sudden. Hi. Welcome to our weekly live. I'm so happy to see you all here. I hope you guys are doing great. Let me get some color on these Stampin' Lips of mine. Ooh, there we go. Aw, thanks for the thumbs up already. There we go. Oh my gosh, I don't usually take so much time to get my lips on, but goodness. Well, I hope that you guys are excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you. It is just lovely to see you all here. I had a little sneak away with my sister this past kind of for a long weekend. I left midweek last week, which was just lovely to get away. I'm still catching up on my emails. If you messaged me, I have gotten through about half of them, so I will get the rest probably tomorrow. It was just a great weekend to escape. My sister had a work conference in Newport, Rhode Island, and so she asked if I wanted to go. And I'll say this right now, I was hesitant to accept the offer because I knew Carl had a race and I don't want to miss any of his races. But it was kind of such a great opportunity to get away, and I haven't done just a sister's trip with my sister for a really long time. So and this is funny. So we went to Newport Beach, California, almost exactly 8 years ago, with us for a Stampin' Up! Trip. And then we went to Newport, Rhode Island, the opposite coast, this last weekend for my sister's work. And so that was just kind of a cool thing. The only thing we didn't get to do, well, there's two things we didn't get to do. One was we wanted to go whale watching, but apparently you can't really go whale watching where we were. And so we were a little disappointed about that. And then we were going to go on the cliff walk, which I think is where you walk in front of all the crazy huge mansions. Like we're talking about the historical mansions. And it was raining the day we were going to do it. And so that didn't work out. So that was kind of a bummer. But we drove around. So we rented a car. When the whale watching thing fell through, we rented a car and drove up to Plymouth Rock, which I thought was going to be something more than it was, but it was just a little rock. And then what else did we do? We saw, the Mayflower replica. Let's just say, I know that like historically there's questions about the origins of our nation, but assuming it was the Mayflower were like the first Americans, allegedly. I can't believe they made it in that boat. Also, it was really tiny. And I don't know, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I would have been a good colonist. Not the least of the reasons would be, well, never mind, but I don't think I would have done it. Also, let's see, what else did we see? So we saw Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower replica. We drove onto Cape Cod, which was like a whole thing. I'd never been there either. I've never been to New Hampshire, or not New Hampshire, Rhode Island. And then we also snuck into Massachusetts, obviously, for these things. But it was really interesting. And I didn't see like any Kennedys or whoever else is on the Cape, but we did see some like really impressive houses. We saw a lighthouse. We walked on the beach. It was a little breezy. and cool, but it was just fun to see all the things. We also went on a little sailing excursion, and that was super fun. Nobody like got kicked off the boat, so that was pretty good. And then I'm not even gonna tell you, the highlight of our trip literally was this. And you guys will love this. Actually, I wonder, oh, my stuff is upstairs still. So we went to this little place right on the water, kind of by the where the boat was for our little sailing thing. And and there was this store called Primavera. So like you can go online and look at it if you want. In fact, I wonder if I should or could or would. Well, so Primavera is a store in Rhode Island, or yeah, Rhode Island, Newport. And they had this whole section of the store. I'm gonna find it. They had this whole section in the store that had hold on, I'm just looking for it because here we go, coasters. And you guys can look them up if you want. But we seriously sat there and giggled for, I don't know, like 15 minutes. Okay. And actually, we went back again after that. We only could wait 15 minutes because the boat was leaving, and we thought the shops would all be closed when we got back, but they weren't. So we went again, and we brought our friends. Okay. So they have all of these really goofy coasters, and there were a ton of them. And they just had like the funniest sayings on them. So for instance, this is one my sister got. It said, "We've been friends for so long, I can't remember which one of us is the bad influence." A few of them are inappropriate, but some of them I can't read out loud. Okay, but I'll tell you my favorite one at the end. And I did buy my favorite one. Okay, so another one is, "My housekeeping style is best described as, there appears to have been a struggle." It's so true. I didn't see that one when we were there. I would have bought it. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to find the one that I'm looking for. I wonder what my dog named me. Did I just roll my eyes out loud? That is a good one. Okay. Hold on. I hate it when I gain 10 pounds for a role and then realize I'm not an actress. Oh boy. Okay, that one's inappropriate. There's several that are inappropriate for me to say online. Okay. Where is it? It's so funny, you guys. Okay, oh wait, there's only 2 pages. It's got to be on the next page. I've got to find it because it's totally worth it. All right, so this one was really funny because, well, first of all, we laughed and thought it was hysterical. And it reminds me of Friends, of course, which they had me at that. But then, oh, don't tell me they don't have it. But then we had my sister's friend take a picture of it before we let her read it, and then that was pretty hysterical as well. Okay, so hold on. It's gotta be coming. Oh, this was another one. "All I want to do is settle down with a very wealthy dog." That made me giggle too. Okay. Oh, it's not on here. Okay, so it said something to the effect of, um, next time someone asks how you look familiar, tell them it's because you do porn. Or they recognize you from porn. I thought that was kind of funny. It's totally inappropriate, but it was pretty funny. And the whole group got a laugh out of it. Well, all of them. But we were like literally crying. I seriously can't even tell you how everybody just, it was just, it was the levity we all needed. So, anyway, that was really funny. And then also later that night, and this is, I like to think, the dedication I hold for my kid. We're after the second trip to that store and our second purchase, we went to dinner and we were eating, and it was like a nice place, like a nice classy place. And I was watching the results come in from my son's meet. So he ran at what is historically a very fast course because it's not very hilly, and they know the course pretty well. So he was running, and I knew this was coming, so I was all excited, of course. And I asked my husband if he would send me pictures or take pictures because I'm usually the one who takes the pictures. And I hoped for the best, but kind of expected the worst, right? So I didn't think he would send me really any pictures, or not very many, if any. And I got real-time photos, like he was taking them and email or texting them to me right away. So I was watching it as it was happening, which was very exciting. And then he ran a big PR. So he broke 17 or 16 minutes. So that means he ran 3.2 miles in less than 16 minutes. So think of this, you guys. Those are 5-minute miles and change. I couldn't run a 5-minute mile to save my life, even if I was in good shape, like to run. But he did 3 in a row plus 0.2 of a mile. And so that was pretty exciting. And last week, he ran really, really well in his race. And he got ranked last week in the state. So he got ranked to 25th in the whole state, which was pretty exciting. And then this week, he got bumped up to 18th. So we were super excited. His team all crossed the finish line. So they run 7 people and then the top 5 score. So those 5 guys all crossed the finish line in a 15-second spread. So within 15 seconds, his whole team had crossed the finish line, which is a very, very, very short spread. So I was over the moon excited for him. And let's just say I don't have a lot of phone conversations with my son. Like, I text him a lot, but I don't actually talk to him on the phone all that often. Well, he called me that night because he was so excited, and I was just so proud of him. And my husband did such a good job. I posted these on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, so you might have seen them, but he also captured the finish when they actually crossed the finish line and was super duper 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 excited. So it was really exciting. So now 3 guys are ranked on his team, and tomorrow the team rankings come out. So like 2 weeks ago they were, I think, either in 12th or 14th place overall in the state, and last week they were 4th. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. And then on Thursday, he has another meet. I will be there. I think I got to practice screaming, to get my voice like warmed up. So I know you guys said there would always be more cross-country meets. That's not true. There's only 4 left. So me missing one was kind of a big deal because he's a senior. And he is planning on running next year. I think that changes from week to week, month to month. So we'll see. But oh my gosh, it was just so exciting. And then I also, this is really funny, I also came across, I think, his first ever cross country meet. No, it was his second cross country meet ever when he was just, we call him Baby Carl. I think he was in seventh grade for that. Yes, he would have been in seventh grade for that. And I just found a little video clip I had on my phone while we were gone. And it was really funny because he was running in this huge meet, so like probably easily 200 to 300 kids running at once. Actually, I'm gonna say even maybe 400 kids, so tons. And he's at the very back of the pack, like he's like the last 20 kids running, and he he used to have to walk, and that was when they only ran 2 miles. And so he's come a long way. But it was really exciting to see all of his hard. You guys, I can't even tell you. He's working so hard. So it's really awesome to see all of that progress. And now you're asking if he's going to run. So you guys, running in college is not like running in or is not like playing football. So scholarships in college running are like $0 to maybe $2,000. Not a lot. He has not decided where he's going to college. He's been accepted to the University of Iowa, but I don't know what he's going to do yet. His list has gotten more and more interesting as the weeks go by. Mind you, I've been trying to get him to do this for a year, but well, you know, any money is better than none. That's true. That might cover books, maybe. It's not a lot. And the colleges he's looking at are like $70,000 a year. I don't think that's a good idea, but that's just me. And of course, I don't know anything. Okay, so I have to laugh. There was a comment that went by here a little bit ago, and many of you have been commenting on it, so I have to come back and see it. Okay, so I took my daughter once and put her tip money in the bank from Applebee's, and she tells the clerk that stack of 600 was stripper money. You know, I've had a similar thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's funny. I do like that. You know, he actually is extremely talented academically speaking. So yeah, we'll just have to see. You know, he wants to go to medical school right now. That's what he thinks he wants to do. And I say thinks he wants to do because what do they even know at this age? But if he does go to medical school, I would like him to go to like an undergraduate school that's not super expensive, and then he might have some money left over for grad school, but we'll just see. Okay. All right. Do they use books in college? Yes, they sure do, because I've been paying for them for 4 years now. He wants to go to a big school because he wants to run D1. So I know, but what do I know? Okay. Oh my goodness, that's really fun. That whole dollars is really funny. Yeah. Oh, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Oops, I just messed up my phone. Sorry. Joy, don't you know that I know nothing and I don't have any experience in life at all whatsoever? But I'm so lucky because my son knows everything. I mean, truly, don't you guys feel good knowing that my son knows everything? I mean, how blessed are we? Believe me, we've had many conversations. My favorite one was, and keep in mind, my husband and I have saved like a great deal of money for my kid to go to school, but I don't happen to have $400,000 for him to go to medical school. And and he said, "Well, I thought we were successful." I wanted to say, "We," as in your father and I, are successful. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm glad that you guys all can relate to that. But really, aren't we blessed? I'm so horrible. But we have plenty of time to figure it all out, so there we go. And in the meantime, as my gray gets grayer and more prolific in my hair, and the blonde is hiding it less, y'all know where I'm at. Okay. Yeah. You know, I seriously underestimated how easy Ella was. So, and please don't get me wrong, I love my two children very much, but sometimes, anyway. Okay, so Joan, we have given him a budget. It's just he doesn't understand that coming out of college with a bazillion dollars in loans is not a good thing. Anyway, okay. So, having said all that, I think it's time we should stamp. I have some really awesome projects for you this day, today, and I think, or I hope, you're gonna really like them. Okay, so I just need to arrange a couple of things here because this last one was sort of a what if I did this kind of moment. And so I'm gonna finish I gotta finish figuring out the what if I did this, so we'll do that card last. All right, so our first card is watercoloring. Sorry, I'm rearranging everything. We're gonna do a couple of watercoloring cards today. Our second one was a request, and then our first one was one I decided I wanted to do after seeing, I saw a notepad online. Sorry, I'm picking up my desk, so when I flip the camera around, it's not too messy. I saw a notepad online, gosh, probably a week or two ago, and this has been in my head for a while to make. So I'm kind of excited to have the chance to make it. But it's going to be a really easy project, and I think you guys are going to like it, whether you can watercolor or not. All right, so I'm going to flip my camera really quick. All right, so here we go. So first off, a reminder, last week we made, sorry, my camera's jiggling. We made these two cards during my live last week, and this is for the card challenge for September. So this was the version where we put a gift card inside. And you can create your own version of this and share it under the challenge graphic on my Stamping with the Creativity Cave Facebook group. The link is in the description of this video. If you are not a member of that group already, you can join and share your creation there. And of course, I will award a winner a bundle. And last month, our winner was Jean Maxwell, I believe. I'm pretty sure about that. Anyway, she's her bundle's headed her way already, and so you can get entered if you'd like. I have a couple classes coming out this week. First of all, the Pick of the Patch Creativity to Go kit. It ships this week, which I'm very excited about. These cards, oh my goodness, I've had the best time with this bundle. You can still get registered. Just drop me a message, or if you're on my mailing list, I will have one final email going out tomorrow for this. So if you're not subscribed to my email, you can do so. Again, link in the description of this video. Our new catalog make and takes are shipping out tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. Those projects are fantastic. In fact, I even said to Kelly and Barb, I'm like, we're so good. So make sure you get subscribe, or make sure you get your packet if you don't already. I think I have just a few left. Also, this month, our Sunshine and Creativity Delivered box is going to be cards that do stuff. So if this is the box that's going to ship in October, you have to register by the end of this month, which is Saturday. So make sure and get subscribed to that. It's the cards are really fun. I think you guys are really going to like them. So they are cards like you pull on something and something happens. Pop-up cards. I've got a shaker card. They're all kinds of fun, different things that I think you'll really enjoy. So that's going to be a good time. Also, World Card Making Day is coming up in about 2 weeks, and you can purchase a new Heartfelt Hexagon bundle. It's got a punch and coordinating stamp set. I've shown it before. I'm trying to see if I have this set handy. Yes, I do. And this is something you can purchase, and you can also participate in this event. It's a free event that Stampin' Up! Is putting on, and of course you can get this bundle right now, so it will be lots and lots of fun. To be a part of that. They'll also be using the Circle Sayings bundle and the Earth and Textures bundle. So the projects will include these three. So get registered both for the event and get the supplies so you can stamp right along with Stampin' Up. By the way, the registration is just go to my online store and you'll see a big banner for it. We do have a special release of Designer Series papers that are going on right now. I've shown several of them. We're going to use one again today. This is an awesome opportunity to get some really beautiful papers. They're not found anywhere else. They're not like in a catalog or anything. They are just in the online store, so you can check that out. And of course, when you shop with me, you will get the Zoo Crew All-Star tutorial PDF, and it will be really awesome. So there you go. Those are our announcements for today. All right, so next I want to stamp. And of course I wanted to watercolor. By the way, I did some watercoloring. You may have seen I shared some of what I was making. I actually watercolored both in the plane and at the airport during my layover, and had a lovely time. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to start this first card with some what is this? Pebbled Path cardstock for my card base. And then I am going to take a 3 3/4 by 5-inch piece of our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And then I'm going to take the In Colors. Of course, those are this year's Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, Copper Clay, Pebbled Path, and Wild Wheat. And we're going to do a little watercoloring. So I'm just going to squeeze the ink pad to the lid of each of these pads. Now, if you have a hard time doing that, the squeezing part, you can just use a block and touch your block to the ink pad and pick the color up that way. So I'm just going to open these all up, and I know you're already like, oh my gosh, why is she doing that? But here we go. Okay, so now we have our little palette of colors, and this is just a lovely fall color palette. So I'm going to take a piece of that Fluid 100 and my watercolor brush, and we're going to paint on some colors. Now, whenever I do watercoloring, of course, I like having a little rag that I can use next to me. I also have some water in a jar here because I like to be able to clean my brush out a little faster than squeezing because I run out of water real fast when I color much. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick up some of this color and then I'm going to drag it down, the paper. Okay, so that was boho blue. We're gonna change. So this is literally no skill required. Next up, we're gonna do Moody Mauve, and these colors can touch. They might bleed a little into one another. That's just fine. That's kind of what we're going for, and that's just a stripe. Here's another one. This one is Copper Clay, and these are just such good kind of fall colors. I love that. Next up, we've got Pebbled Path. And so I'm doing narrower stripes than like the width of my brush. Okay, so there we go. Now I could use one of the other brushes too. I just happen to have this one handy. So there we have our beautiful stripes. Isn't that pretty? Now, like I said, I got the idea for this from a notepad that I saw, and I don't even know, I think it was an ad for something somewhere. And it was basically, it wasn't these exact colors, but it was kind of a non-traditional colored rainbow. And that's where the inspiration for this came from. So you can see those colors are kind of blending a little bit, bleeding to one another. If you leave white space, they won't bleed, but when they touch up against each other, they will bleed a little bit, and that's just fine. We like the look of that. It's kind of natural and pretty. Now we want to let this dry. So I'm going to use a set of dies. This is the Wanted to Say dies, and there's like sets of them. So like there's a detail and a solid so that you can layer them up. All right, so let me show you what I mean by that. So I die cut the solid out of some more watercolor paper, and then I die cut the detail out of this glorious adhesive back glimmer paper that's part of that special release DSP. So I'm going to take this and pull that backing off and layer it up. And it's just so dang easy to do. Okay. And then you guys are going to laugh. I stuck my finger to it and that pulls out the little insert pieces. You're welcome for that glorious tip. Okay. And then we're just going to stick this right to the backing. You can see it just has a nice little neat layer behind, which I just love. And then we'll just pick off those little insert pieces and toss them. And then repeat that with the word birthday. So there's a celebrate, a happy birthday, feel better soon, and one other one. Hold on a sec. Okay, there we go. Now that time they just came off with my backing sheet, which was super handy. So you can see this is really easy to place on there. Of course, the adhesive backed glimmer paper just makes oh so short work of the whole process. So I just love that. And we're going to convince this to dry a little faster. Because let's be honest, who has time to wait for paper to dry? Actually, of my watercoloring, the worst part of watercoloring is waiting for stuff to dry, in my opinion. Okay, so we've got this fun little background, and then we're just going to add our words to it. I'm going to layer this piece on a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 inch piece of Pebbled Path paper. Okay, but we want to make sure everything is nice and dry before we adhere it, because it can sometimes stick funny if it's still wet. Okay, but that looks fabulous. And then we've got our card base. Now we're going to do just a quick little bit of coloring again. So I've got, well, let's see here. I've got, oh, that's a bigger piece. I've got this piece of scrap, and we're just going to quick color this. I meant to do this while we were painting, but okay. So we'll just do the stripes again really quick on here. And again, we're going to let them bleed. That's just fine. And the last one. There we go. Okay, so we'll put this on the inside. All right, now I'm going to close all these up because I know some of you are sitting at home going, oh my gosh, why does she leave those pads open? It kills me. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's give this another second to dry. Okay, there we go. Whew, nice. Now this is even a little thicker than it needed to be, but it just was a scrap that I happened to have handy. So I'm going to just layer that up on my 4x5¼ white, and then we'll put that on the inside of our card. I just trimmed off that little bit of excess. Okay, so there's that. Now on here, we're going to take and pop up our happy birthday onto our card, because let's be honest, everything's better popped up. I think we all know that by now. And I'm just putting a few dimensionals on here because it's pretty easy to do. I bet I could get one more here. Boom. And then you can do a couple different things. And then I have three more versions of this card, because there's 4 sentiments in here, so I did 4 of these cards. So first off, you could just leave it like that, and that would be adorable. But, I mean, let's be honest. You know, we're always going the extra mile. We have some little star dies. This is in this same die set that our happy birthday is from. There's also some hearts, a present, and a little flower. So I'm going to do some stars right there. And then I'm going to also take, I thought I was going to, here we go. I've got my in color jute trim, and I'm just going to add a little touch of this to the bottom. And I don't know about you, but I'm having a little bit of an 80s vibe from this. Obviously the colors, maybe 70s, it's like late 70s, early 80s, from this kind of color scheme. I like the look. It, like, I'm pretty sure that we had wild wheat countertops or appliances at my house. Can any of you guys relate growing up? Oh, I'm pretty sure about that. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I feel pretty confident those were the colors. I know we had dishes that had that color in them, that's for sure. Goodness. So there we have this. Now I could add those stars down there, or should I leave them off? Should I put 2 sets of stars or just 1? Let me know. 2 sets of stars or 1? One. Thank you, Cheryl. Joy says 1, 2. Okay, everybody says 1. All right, we'll save this for later. All right. So now because I used this twine, I'm going to pop the whole panel up onto my card. It's just thick enough that I think it looks nice. And then also because, because we used pebbled path for our layer, it'll look nice. Now I thought about using another layer, like another color from here as the layer, but every time I did it, I didn't like the look. So that's why I went with pebbled path. So there is our card. Isn't that fun? So easy. Now let me show you some of the other ones I made. Here is another one. This one is the full width of that brush, by the way. And I really like this one also. I just think it's super cute. It was just the first one I did. Here I did diagonal skinny lines with Celebrate and some of the silver. And then here I just did circles, and when they touched, they bleed together. If you took my watercolor stamp camp this past winter, we did some of this, but I just love that look and thought it was so fun. So here, You're Too Kind is the other sentiment that's in there. So anyway, these are all the cards that I created with basically that same exact technique, just carried out a little differently, 3 stripes and 1 set of circles. So really fun. And you just can get so much out of this set of dies because there's little coordinating pieces. So like that's the flower, these are the hearts. I just did dots for the Celebrate. I was thinking about doing the present, but then I decided not to because, I don't know, not every celebration requires a present. But there you go. Now, whenever I have leftover pieces for a set of dies or for, whatever, I always put them in a clear envelope. We sell those clear envelopes in our catalog. And then I just tuck it in this case with the set of dies. Sometimes it's stamp set, so I put them in the stamp set case. So that's just a little quick tip for you. So isn't this fun? I love these. All right, now our next our next card is a guest request card that I had for the, I bet it's in the case. Yeah. For this Fruitful Blessings stamp set. So of course I had to watercolor this. So this is for you, Sonia. I think this set is just so pretty. So I thought we would watercolor with this. It is just actually so timely because I got my mums out, my big pots of mums. I got them at Sam's Club, you guys. They are amazing. They are so big and round and huge and gorgeous, and I was really happy with them. So anyway, I'm choosing this design because in honor of my mums. Now the set comes as a bundle. There's dies that coordinate all the different images, and then there are a few extra pieces that like this corn and then these leaves. So it's a great set. So I thought we could start with a little embossing, and I felt like either copper or gold would be just gorgeous to emboss with. So, copper I pulled out first, so we're going to go with copper. And we're just going to stamp this large image. Again, this is Fluid 100 watercolor paper. Just like the last card we did was Fluid 100 paper. If you're watercoloring, you should definitely be using that because it just makes all the difference in the world. This is one time where your paper makes a big difference. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp this on here. We're going to die cut it, so I'm just sort of stamping it on here to save space a bit. And I'm taking my time stamping this, meaning I'm letting it sit here so that the ink can transfer off the stamped image onto my cardstock. Sometimes I think we might press hard, but we don't give the the ink the chance to get off the stamp, if you know what I mean. Okay, and when I do that, I find that the results definitely show. So we'll just coat this with our paper, or our powder, I mean, and then we'll watercolor. Or, yeah, we will watercolor, but first we gotta melt the powder. Okay. So this is a really pretty detailed image. Now, if you are not into watercoloring, we can still be friends. It's okay. But you can color this in with water painters, or I'm sorry, Stampin' Blends. You can use ink and blender pens. You can use watercolor pencils, and you don't have to watercolor them. You can just color them. It's up to you. Now, I've found whenever I use Stampin' Blends with embossing, it does something weird to the embossing, and it kind of loses its shine. I don't know if it's the alcohol that kind of mixes, or I don't know. So anyway, I don't recommend heat embossing if you're gonna use your Stampin' Blends to color something in, just as an FYI. Okay. Oh, but before we finish that, we're gonna do this on a crumb cake card base, but I thought it would be really pretty if we stamped the background and heat embossed it. Okay, so sorry, we gotta just do one more little step here. So I'm gonna drop my embossing buddy on my card once again. We'll go all the way around. And then we're gonna ink up this just kind of leafy stamp. And stamp this kind of in all directions going around here. I'm like looking at this to see what I'm doing. Okay. And see, it's so helpful to have a little paper scoop in your powder. For these little containers, this is like snapware type containers. It isn't actually technically snapware. I don't know what it is. I got these on the Amazon. Okay. So there we have our little background. Let's heat that up. Just want to put the lid on my powder because if you thought open ink pads on your desk were bad, powder's worse. All right, we'll heat set these. And then we'll do our watercoloring. I probably could have done this while everything was drying, but oh well, here we are. Okay, so now we have a beautiful background. All right, we'll throw that aside, get rid of this and this, and let's color. Now, for my color scheme, I wanted to go with the colors of my beautiful pot. So I have a Cajun Craze, a Berry Burst, a Crushed Curry, and then Old Olive for the greenery. So let's get started. Now, once again, I want to have my rag here, and then sometimes I find it's really handy to have like a scrap of watercolor paper. Let's see. so I have this scrap here. I'm gonna just kind of go in the center of this because you can pick up color and test it on that scrap, you know, like to see how bright or not bright it is, which is really handy. Generally speaking, when I'm watercoloring, I like to go from light to dark in color. And I'm going to use this is my medium tip brush for this. You could also use the fine tip. Either one works. And let's see, actually I just said I wanted to go light to dark, didn't I? And here I am picking up not the lightest color. So I've got some of my crushed curry, and I'm just going to put some down on this flower. And I want it to be really dark towards the center of this flower, and then we're gonna blend it out and let it be lighter. Okay, so here I can test on my scrap to make sure that I actually have a lighter shade. And then if I get too much water, I can dab off my brush on my towel, which is really handy. It really helps you control how much water you've got going with your water painter. So I really like doing that. Okay, so I kind of rinsed out some of that right there. I'm going to add it back. And that looks pretty good. Then I think for this big bloom, I'm going to do Berry Burst because it's just so pretty. And then for these 3 smaller ones, I'm going to do my Cajun Craze. Okay, so these are a little bit easier. We can just kind of, they're super tiny, so we're just going to kind of throw some color down. All right, and then I'm going to rinse that off and blend the color a little bit. One of the things I love about watercoloring a detailed image like this with my embossing is that the embossing kind of traps the color and keeps it from going in places you don't really want it to go, which is nice. And then I think on the inside of this, I'm going to do Cajun Craze. So that looks good. All right, and I'll bring this closer so you can see how it looks. Also, I've got this extra light. Maybe I'll turn that on. There, that kind of brightens things up a little bit. Yes, if I am watercoloring, you have about a 98% chance that it's on watercolor paper. I would say actually 99.5. There's been like one instance I can think out of like the last year where I haven't used watercolor to watercolor something, but I wasn't like coloring in an image. So yes, anytime you watercolor the paper, just, I can't even tell you guys how important the paper is. It really, really makes the big difference in how things kind of come out. Okay, so there's kind of like 2 rows of, there's several rows of petals, but I'm kind of doing a couple rows like that, and then we'll blend kind of the in-between out. So we definitely have lighter and darker areas. That is how things look beautifully shaded on watercoloring. It's so easy to do and it's so relaxing. Like I said, I was watercoloring at the airport. I seem to impress several people with my skills. I don't know, I'm getting there. All right, so look at that. Do you see how there's lighter areas and then darker areas? So I really love the look of that. Now for the center of this one, I'm going to do some green in the center of that. And I think that'll look nice. Blend that out just a touch. And then we're going to do our leaves. And I'm not staying perfectly within the lines. I'm going out a little bit, and that's just fine. We are going to die cut this, so in some cases it'll cut off some of that, and then the rest will just be kind of part of the process, which is just fine. And then I'm going darker along kind of that center vein of this big leaf, and then we'll blend everything out. Okay. And whenever I'm dabbing on my towel, a lot of times it's to get rid of the excess water. Like I said, water control is a little bit tricky sometimes, and I like having that rag there to help me. Paper towel works great too. If, I'm just using like my kids' old burp rags from when they were babies. Okay, then we'll blend this one out. Oh, so pretty. And when you're doing this, if the edge is too hard, just add some water and blend some more. Watercoloring is really forgiving, which is just wonderful. By the way, I'm going to do the centers in yellow on these Cajun Craze ones. Oh, and I see a leaf that I missed, so we'll come back and blend that one out. The other thing too is, like, if I came back here next week and realized that I'd missed something, I could totally fix it. That's how wonderfully forgiving watercolor is. You can come back and fix mistakes way later, which I just love. Okay, now we need to put a color on those berries. And I think I'm going to do Berry Burst because, you know, why wouldn't you? All right, so there we go. Isn't that just gorgeous? All right, so now I'm going to take and die cut this, but I want it to dry first, and we're going to add it to this. I have a second panel. This is actually the one, well, they're both the same size, but this one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I might add, it's the other half of the sheet of Fluid 100 paper minus this little strip right here. Okay, so I could get one of these and one of these out of a sheet of my Fluid 100 paper, just so we're all on the same page. All right, now I want to add a little bit of a background on this, and I'm actually going to use, I think I'm going to use some Pool Party. I was thinking about Lost Lagoon, but gosh, Pool Party just never lets me down. So what I'm going to do is just, first of all, I'm going to take and kind of spread some water on here. And you can see I'm getting a really nice uneven background, and that's exactly what I want. I don't want it to be nice and evenly colored. I just want a little color on here so that I'm not putting this down on white. Okay, like that. All right, so we're going to let all of this dry. And then we're going to die cut this. This one is pretty close. Let's just wave it around a little bit. Now, you can wave it like this as long as it's not drippy wet. If it's drippy wet, you're going to have drippy things flying around all over like spin art. So you don't want that. All right, that looks good. Now, I'm going to do one other thing. Now, I've been doing this a lot when I watercolor other just stuff, and that is splatter it. Okay, so to do that, I want to get my brush fairly wet. You can see it's not drippy wet, but it's fairly wet. And I'm going to pick up a color, and I want it to be a subtle color. I don't want it to be like, well, I could do Berry Burst, but I want it to be not too crazy. We'll start with Crushed Curry, which, by the way, is one of my favorite colors to use to watercolor stuff, by the way. But anyway, I'm just gonna, I've got a bunch of color on here, and then I'm gonna tap it just against my finger. Okay, and when I do that, I get little spritz marks. Now, keep in mind we're die cutting this, so they're not all going to show. But it just adds a fun little touch to that. You can see they got bigger splatters and there's smaller splatters. I'm gonna kick it up a notch and do some Cajun craze as well. Now Cajun is one of my layers, so we'll just add a few spritzes with Cajun craze. Okay, and look at how pretty that is. It's just gorgeous. Now I wanted to do that just on this panel because if I did it on this panel that's well away, safe from the spritzes, it would bleed and spread and not look good on here. So we didn't want that. We want this to look really great. Okay, but now I got more water on here, so I gotta let it dry. You can see by the way clean water comes out as well when you do that spritzing, and that's fine. Just be aware that it takes a little longer for things to dry. Okay, so while we're done watercoloring, so we're gonna take and close all of these up. Now, I think I could also take and die cut some of these leaves that are part of the set out of a little vellum. I've got some scraps of vellum here, so let's run these through a couple quick. Okay. Oh, and I just put my plate and my wet paper. That wasn't the brightest move. Don't worry, I wiped it off on my pants. It's all good. All right, I'm gonna die cut one more of these big branches. Well, if nothing else, it helped dry it, right? Ooh, I love these because they've got some detail in the dies, so that's really pretty. All right, so let's take a look at how we're doing over here. It's not quite dry, but I think it's dry enough for us to die cut this because I like to live fast and loose in life. Okay, now I just want to make sure this is all lined up perfectly because my gosh, we went through all of that work. It would be a travesty to die cut it wrong. So I will also take a Post-it, and I'm going to Post-it this on a dry area. I just want to make sure it doesn't move on me. Okay. So you can see those speckles in there, just a little bit. So pretty. Okay. So next up, as mentioned, I've got my layers here. So let's adhere these layers. This is not quite dry yet. So let's give it a hit with the heat tool. I love having just a little bit of that color in the background of Pool Party. Pool Party is so versatile. It just goes with absolutely everything. And you see me doing the back of my paper. If it warps, often heat it from the other side and that will take the warp out and flatten your paper. That's just a lovely little tip I learned some time ago. Okay, so I'm gonna adhere this to my layer of Cajun Craze. So my watercolor paper is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. My Cajun Craze layer is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. Okay, looking fabulous. And then my die cut piece is going to be popped up right over the top. And it looks just so pretty against that little touch of a background. And so we'll put kind of a large number of dimensionals on here, because let's be honest, this is gorgeous. We want it to be beautiful. Okay, I've just got it on there like so. Oh. Now we can tuck some leaves in here if we want. I might rip a couple of them off. There we go. And then we've got these smaller ones that we can just kind of tuck in a few places like that. You don't, nothing crazy. And then my sentiment. Now I was going to do, well, I guess I could still do this. Okay, for my sentiment, I think I'm going to do Berry Burst. Okay, here again, if your watercolor paper is wet still, this is gonna not turn out well. So we want to make sure it is good and dry. Grateful for you. Oh, so pretty. Okay, now I'm gonna tack these in with some glue dots. And then we can add some embellishments as well. But I love when Stampin' Up! Adds these little extra pieces into the sets of dies, because they just do a lot to really enhance the images. Sorry. I'm having trouble getting that one in there. All right. So gorgeous. Okay, so I really like the look of that. And then remember, we embossed this copper on here. So we're going to add that over the top, and look at how gorgeous that is. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so we'll pop this up as well. I think whenever you pop layers up on cards, it just makes them look extra fancy. And just gorgeous. Now this will send just fine in an envelope. I don't want to add ribbon to this, because then that would be pushing my luck, but that's pretty. I'm going to take some of these brushed metallic adhesive backed dots in copper to add to my card with my Take Your Pick tool. And we'll put one more. Maybe one more up. I don't want a big one, I want a little one. One more up here. Oh, so beautiful. Isn't that just gorgeous? Okay, now we got to do the inside, right? So you can do a lot of different things for the inside. I'm going to keep it real simple. So I've got Grateful for You. You could add Wishing Many Blessings if you wanted. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to just take and put some leaves in here. Like so. So nothing super fancy. Just wipe that olive ink off of the works table. And then add this to the inside of our card. So pretty simple and beautiful. There we go. All right, so that was our second project. We need a good third project, I think. Ooh, we're running long. Okay, so we've got, this is a two for one situation. We're gonna do some tricks and treats. Now, if you are a member of my Sending Sunshine and Rainbows Facebook group, I've got kind of an exciting little announcement coming up later this week. So if you're not a member of it, you definitely want to get over there and join. There should be a link in the description of this video. Our Sending Sunshine and Rainbows group is a group that I have you can nominate people to send cards to them. And you can also join our birthday rack list, which rack stands for Random Act of Kindness, and it's not very random because you sign up for it. But you get birthday cards on your birthday. You send birthday cards to others on their birthday. It's really a great group. Lots of good stuff is happening over there, so you can definitely check it out. If there's somebody you'd like to nominate for cards, you can check out the information. You just need to email me. Don't post in the group because your post will be rejected if you do. I like to vet the nominations to make sure they're legitimate. I once had somebody who was asking for cards for somebody that was a scam, and yeah. So anyway, I just like to make sure everybody is on the up and up in that group. Well, long story short, I have kind of a fun announcement, so make sure and check that out. I forgot to mention that earlier. So, all right, so we're going to use the Tricks and Treats bundle to make a little Halloween project. This is such a cute bundle. So this set of dies comes with a treat bag. So you die cut the treat bag twice out of your paper, and then we're gonna assemble the treat bag. So it's really easy to create. I'm using the designer series paper that's in the mini catalog. I want to say it's called Bag of Bones, but honestly I'm not sure. And I'm just gonna fold on all the score lines real quick, and then I'm gonna adhere the pieces. It's really, like I said, it's really simple to do. So you can use tear and tape, or I would use Seal Plus or liquid glue to create this project. So I'm just going to put some tear and tape on my strips here. I love tear and tape because it just tears. It's great. Then I'm going to use my little take your pick tool to get the backing off. Also, another wonderfully versatile use of the take your pick tool. Okay, so to line these up, I just want to line the top and bottom to make sure it's on there even. And then I'll repeat this. If you did the first one right, your second one is real easy. There we go. Okay, so this creates a cute little treat bag. Now, obviously, we're going to put the ends in and tape that down. I'm going to do 2 rows of tape on the bottom just to make it a little bit more secure. There we go. Ooh. All right. Now, another little tip for you. Take something, a bone folder will work. I just happen to have a spritzer here with the cap or the end of it, but I'm just pressing down to make sure everything stuck real nice at the bottom of this. Okay, so here's our little treat holder. Now you can put all kinds of stuff. I just happen to have some chocolate to go in there. Well, I guess if I was smart, I would put like a little shreddy in the bottom of that. But there's some chocolate for a nice treat. Okay, there's a little die that'll cut holes in here so you can attach ribbon if you want. I'm not even gonna mess with that, but we're gonna do a little stamping. So now I die cut this deckled circle in black cardstock, and we're actually gonna emboss again real quick. You could do clear or black, which what did I do with it? I have it out already. No wonder. I'm like, it's not in my drawer. Okay, so let me show you what I'm gonna do, because this is just gonna be cool. I'm gonna start with a scrap of basic white and then my black circle, and I'm going to emboss both of these pieces. On this piece, I'm going to do the little haunted house. Okay, and then we'll get the powder on here. Ooh, I didn't do my embossing buddy on here, but that's all right. Okay, so we'll just heat that up. And I might see, will that take another layer of powder? Not really. I'm gonna emboss or sometimes I didn't get the best stamping of this, and sometimes you can do a second layer if you're quick. Ooh, there, I think I got what I wanted. But sometimes it also sticks in the background more. But the good news is that we're die cutting this, so it won't matter. Okay. Now I'm also going to do some bats in the background of my little piece here. So like I said, you can do black or clear for this, but since we're already doing black, why wouldn't we just do some more? And I love the look of this black on black, because it's just cool. Okay, there we go. All right, now we're gonna quick die cut the haunted house out. But before we do that, since we're gonna make a little treat box, I thought we could make a card too, because it's really just the same thing. So for that, I'm going to once again stamp. And is this going to be big enough? Let me grab a scrap. Okay, so for this, I'm going to stamp my Frankenstein. So I'm going to use some Granny Apple Green. And quick clean this off because sometimes I haven't actually stamped this Frankenstein yet, and sometimes there's like a little bit of residue from the manufacturing process. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Scrub to clean it. Oh yeah, that's Stampin' Up better. Okay, so I've stamped this. Now I want to make sure this is really dry because I want to heat emboss over the top of this the details, but I want to emboss, or I guess I said I wanted to emboss. Okay, so I want to make sure this is really dry. I'm also going to use my embossing buddy to make sure I get a really nice image. Okay. All right, now this is the magic of this stamp. Like, what? Now I kind of got his, I stamped this a little funky, so I'm using my take your pick tool to actually get rid of some of that. Then we'll heat emboss this as well. And look at how stinking cute that is. Oh my gosh, seriously. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside for a second, and then we're gonna just heat emboss this little piece once again real quick. Like we did the first one. Because I figured that a gift or a treat bag is really just like a card, so we could make two. Okay, one last piece to emboss. All right, so let us die cut these two pieces out, and then we're going to put our card together. I just need my dies. So the dies have everything we need. For this super cute project. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. There's also a vampire in this set, which is just so much fun. Okay, so let me run these through my machine and then we'll put it all together real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my treat box, and we're gonna add our little haunted house to this with some dimensionals, of course. And you could add a little tag to this, or I'm sorry, a little insert to this where you write something, or you know, you can do all kinds of stuff for this. I'm just going to pop it up on our bag. and it's really, really easy. Like that. And then I'm just going to add to this a little bit of our ribbon. Now this is the large check ribbon. And you could color this. We'll color it on our next card, or you can leave it black and white, of course. This is actually black and vanilla, just for full disclosure. Now, the paper on here is black, or white, sorry. It has white, not vanilla, as its base. And, you know, I don't think it matters really, but if you're a stickler about that, you could either color the ribbon, or we have black and white checkered ribbon. It's smaller checks in the annual catalog. Okay, so that's just our little treat box. Super duper easy. Here's another version of that with some ghosts on it, and this is that spiral die background. And then there's a die that will cut the edge of this to be that, you know, rick-racky look. And then this is just a granola bar in here, but you can, you know, add whatever you'd like. Okay, then for our card, we're doing basically the same thing. And you could for sure use the haunted house. I just thought I'd switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to do a basic gray card base. And this is funny. This is cut the wrong way, so it's not going to fold very well. So I got to score it. It's a long story, but I cut this not in the usual half sheet way. It's a long story, like I said. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway. All right. So basic gray is our card base. Then I cut a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of that same pattern of designer series paper. And then we're going to put it on a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 inch black panel. And I will attach that right here. You could also have die cut this circle out of this designer series paper, but I hadn't figured out all the layers yet when I die cut the circle first. But that's just a good way to save paper, is cutting stuff out of the layers. Okay. I'm going to set that right on there. And then we're going to pop this up as well. Our little Frankenstein. There's also die cuts to make candy corn out of here, which I love. Okay, so isn't that just so stinking cute? And then I'm gonna take my eek and stamp this on here as well. Now, whenever I stamp on designer series paper, I really prefer using black stays on. I could also use, I could heat emboss that, but this is just a little quicker. So we added on there, and then last but not least, we're going to throw some, oh, I forgot I put this directly on my card. Okay, so we're going to tie this in a knot. So I'm estimating the length I will need to be about there, and then I am going to use my Granny Apple Green dark blend, and I'm just going to color kind of that end and that end, keeping in excuse me, keeping in mind we're going to cover up a lot of this in you know, the back is going to cover up a lot of this ribbon, so I don't need to do the whole thing. All right, maybe I'll just do a little more on each end. Okay, so I like to use my brush end of my Stampin' Blend for the coloring. Okay, and then as promised, This will go right in the back like so. And I love that we kind of have all these textures. In here we've got the bone, herringbone ribbon, or sorry, designer series paper. We've got the colored checks ribbon. We've got the embossing, black on black. It's just super fun. You could also use, you know, if this is too many patterns for you, which I understand, I kind of like it, but if it's too much for you, you could switch to like the green Parakeet Party metallic ribbon. That would be cute on here as well. Okay, so eek is on there, and then on the inside, you can stamp your trick or treat or whatever you'd like. And you've got just the cutest, patootiest card. This would be so fun for sending to your grandkids or having for your kids on Halloween. I love it. You could also put a little strip of that designer series paper on here. I didn't have a strip left over, so I didn't, but that is definitely an option. So there you go, friends. We made some super cute cards today, if I can just say. So we've got the treat bag and coordinating card. We've got this beautiful watercolored Grateful for You card, and then we made this happy birthday card, and then I had these other ones that I had done up with the same concept. So lots of fun stuff today. I hope you loved these projects. I will get everything posted on my blog tomorrow for you to check out the photos and whatnot. Again, if you would like to purchase any of the supplies that I used today, I'd be so grateful for your business. It really helps so much to have your orders come in to help continue bringing these awesome videos to you each week. Watch me on Friday for a Friday fun, and like I said, join my Sunshine and Rainbows group because we have some fun stuff coming. And I've got a fun announcement coming out later this week for you. So anyway, thanks so much for being here, friends. I will see you soon. Have a great week. Bye.